start. So we just wanted to welcome you very much to today, kind of a follow-on from the brilliant morning that we had from Caroline and Carmel, who came over from Quintet from the University of Bristol. For those of you who weren't there this morning, it was a really good opportunity to look at how best, not only the value of using qualitative research and trials, but how best to use qualitative research and trials, and then the practicalities and the actual challenges, which we're not, we are aware of, and so we do need to address those and face those head on. And Quest has been a little more than a year in existence, but today seemed the best time for us to celebrate an anniversary type event, an 18-monther maybe, to reflect and bring everyone together and reflect on what we have done, the achievements, and to thank and show gratitude to the working groups who have done Trojan work over the last year, getting things moving and all going in the right direction. And then after Professor Deneen has spoken, we're going to talk a little bit about the future of Quest, what's next in the pipeline, and also how people can get involved, and hopefully anybody who isn't already involved might wish to join us on our quests. So. Just to recap on the overarching mission of Quest, why we came together in the first place, and Caroline asked this question of us yesterday, and it just kind of reminded me of where we came about and how it all started. And it was really from a recognition of a lot of qualitative experience and expertise in the School of Nursing and in the university and beyond. Really, we have people from, we have an international audience, and we have international members, and how to best harness that and use that in a constructive way towards optimizing trial methodology. So that's where we came from, and we came up with an overarching mission to maximise the value of qualitative research through three key activities. So supporting the undertaking of qualitative research and trials, and that's what Andrew's going to talk to you about a little bit later. Training and education on the use of qualitative research and trials, and the primary methodology research, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well, and the survey of trialists, and our current Cochrane review as well. Because we're recording, I can't do my fancy clicks, or I'm not going to risk doing my fancy clicks into websites and things, but most of you are familiar with the website at this stage, where you can find out about all our news and events, our past webinars, and a little bit about us, who we are, who the steering group are, the qualitative research advisors, and the working group members. We wanted to show you this kind of visual representation because, again, there's sometimes a bit of ambiguity or a little bit of uncertainty about how we sit, so we just wanted to kind of visually present it and what the different aspects of Quest are. At the top you'll see the TMRN, or the HRB TMRN, and Sandra's here representing the TMRN today, who have been pivotal in getting us up and running and supporting us and helping us and advising us. And we feel what we're doing in terms of trials and trial methodology really fits within the vision and the activity of the TMRN as well. So without them we wouldn't be here. We also have our partnerships with the Quintet group, which I feel we're stronger than ever after today, hopefully. And also Trial Forge with Sean Treweek and his team up in Aberdeen in Scotland. Again, that's feeding into our role in trial methodology, or where we feel we sit in promoting and enhancing trial methodology. We have a steering group which includes Pat Beasley from near Sydney in Australia, isn't it, near Sydney, who came over to visit us actually last year. And we have Declan Devan and Sandra from the TMRN, myself and Andrew, Patrick Murphy, I'm trying to think who else now. I was going to link into this as well, and Alicia Cohan as well. So we have some really, and Jenny Donovan, of course, who has really been crucial in helping us get started as well and setting us on this pathway. We have three working groups, and as I said, we're completely thankful and in gratitude to them and the hard work that they have put in over the last year, and we'll talk a bit about their activities. And then we have the qualitative research advisors, and these are the people who are brought into bids, brought into projects, who actually advise on how best to integrate the qualitative research or actually get involved in the conduct of qualitative research as well. And you can register to be a qualitative research advisor through CTED, which we'll explain a little bit later. And then we have our members, and I think we're currently over 400 members. So people who have signed up to Quests and received the newsletters and hear about our events and join remotely when they can't join in person. Just to remind you about our links to the TMRN, Quintet and Trial Force. So what have we been doing? What's been keeping us so busy? As you can see, we have an international audience, people from Canada, Ireland, the USA, United Kingdom and Australia, as well as our following here in Ireland. We've been, through the help of Marisha Hennessy here, who has been, again, without her we would have been completely lost. She's helped us with the website, keeping the website active, keeping our Twitter account, our social media alive and kicking, monitoring our mailing list sign-ups and promotion awareness through the marketing and communication group led by Pauline Mescal, and just getting our name out there and getting our products out there and getting the brand out there as well. Just in our webinars, so Patrick Murphy and the Education and Training Group, so Elaine and Linda here as well, have been really active in getting some key speakers, both here in person and online. So we've had Pat Beasley, Alex Clark from Canada, Jenny Donovan, of course, Alicia O'Cahan and Sally Wykes. And all of those are available on the been conducting our workshop and training, so we've done the qualitative evidence synthesis workshop with Jenny and the En Vivo training, which was very well received in February, and we'll talk about future workshops as well because there is a big demand for those at the moment. And then I'm going to pass you over to Andrew briefly to talk about the research aspect.
Yeah. We'll not keep you too long. We're going over a year, but we're not going to take you a year on that. In terms of the research, steering group member, Aideen O'Doherty from the Clinical Research Facility, most importantly, in terms of we have a focus obviously on qualitative research on trials, but we cannot underestimate all the other work that's being done in terms of training and raising awareness of that as well. So we're looking to attract people to come to Quests as advisors. That is people who are prepared to get involved with a bid. So if people approach us as Quests, people who are prepared to get involved with a bid and help steer that through. And we're trying to create a critical mass of people with that experience who've been part of that process and have worked it through, so that we can, build our expertise and support people as bids come up and as opportunities to get involved with trials come forward. We're looking, again, the advisors that we have experience both of working within trials and in terms of publishing methodologically. Which is crucial. And again, as Catherine pointed out, there is such a depth of qualitative research, not necessarily into trials yet, but as we were talking about in the training event this morning and into this afternoon, trials are where the money's going, and it's about moving that expertise into trials to benefit the outputs, to benefit the outcomes from them, and from, case study through ethnography, the expertise is there. It's about turning that into expertise that will impact within trials, and importantly, qualitative evidence synthesis, which we will talk more about. And it's about building up a set of people who can support each other and ensuring that Quests can react to the needs going forward. Our research activity over the last year, 18 months, Quests have been involved either as PI or co-applicant or collaborator on 3 large HRB bids. That's where we've either led up or been invited into trial applications. One of those has been successful. Certainly, 1 in 3. 1 in 3. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of learning from the ones that don't come off as well. We have been successful on an HRB SWOT, so a study within a trial, to do the qualitative aspects of that. So there's opportunities through the working groups and for those who are in as advisors to get involved in looking at how these successes were made and how this will be undertaken. And not a collaborator, but we're also co-applicant on a cross-border cluster feasibility study as well, which is currently going. Hopefully, it will be successful and is going in. In terms of primary research, we are members of Quests are heavily involved in a Cochrane qualitative evidence led by Catherine, looking at recruitment to trials, and this is a hugely important piece of work methodologically. And what are we, a year plus in? And this will take time because it needs to be done properly. But the potential to build expertise and to really have an impact from that is important.
And currently, it might be 2 reviews.
Yeah,
well.
Exactly. So it's started and spread, benignly, into other areas. So that's huge, and that shouldn't shadow other other smaller pieces of work, such as at the local clinical research facility. We supported a master's student to undertake I always kind of smile at the contradiction, but to undertake a questionnaire of trialists on their views of qualitative research on trials and how they would use it and how they would want to use it, and that was successful. And indeed, our student just got a first for that, and we will publish that with Quest's name upon it. And it's interesting work that will build into our other work going forward. So that's the end of our
buttons.
Yeah, buttons. That's the end of our first part, and.